Hey guys, Sienna
and Kayla, and welcome back to Latte and Foam. Guys, this is going to be kind of a weird order because we're going to release this like very shortly after, because this is a hot topic. But you'll see more videos coming out from us. I just wanted to give that little note at the top that we have a bunch of pre-recorded fun stuff for you guys. But do you want to talk about what we're here to talk about today, Yana?
Picture us back in 2020. If you guys remember, we did Latte and Foam Investigates, and our first one was Tokyo Debunker. We broke down that one, this company was given off scam, and they were kept delaying the game. And the great excuse back then was it's COVID. But we investigated, we found shady company dealings. We found that there was no evidence that they were going to release a game, but they had the full game, and then they went silent. And they didn't just go silent for like a couple months, they went silent for literally 4 additional years. So we are back to, because they finally released the game. We came back, we saw a couple months ago, we talked about it on our previous video, how they had new art, new everything, and it was giving Twisted Wonderland, and we're like, they scrubbed the internet. Everything but our stuff is still there from our video of the old Tokyo Debunker, but we're back to investigate again on what they have released and what the hell is going on. So let's dive right into it of Tokyo Debunker is still a scam.
You guys should check out that video before this one if you haven't seen it, because I feel like we've really collected the receipts, timelines, screenshots. Like she said, that's really not available to find online. They scrubbed all of their old stuff, but we got you. We screen recorded their ads, we got everything back then and compiled it. But yes, 4 years later, it's finally freaking here. And we have been like texting about this moment for months leading up when they said they were going to release it in April. I just can't believe it's finally out. But it's been a little bit of a wah release.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, like, and we even talked about it in our last video that we released recently, but it was really talking about, like, you know, we're going to go back and collectively be better. But the comeback commentary, which I think we still have the screenshot of it, even from our old video, is like, this whole, like, you know, we've really re-strategized and done better. And it's like, like, what are you talking about? You already had the makings and the bones for the game. You showed basic gameplay. You had advertisements. Like, this isn't just like, I don't have a problem with redoing art. That's fine. But it's like, you didn't even address that, like, you scrapped everything. You scrapped even the voice actors. You came back
with, scrapped like, the whole characters.
And you changed what the game, I would assume, was supposed to be. Like, they had an opening video. They had battle sequence. Like, what the hell? So one thing that I want to just touch on from the very beginning, just to talk about kind of the downhill of what this company already starts at. So they have a game called Evertale. They have Neo Monsters, which is just a ripoff of Neopets. We investigated about their company practices and the negative things that people were saying back then. So we're talking about 2020. And there was not good reviews. I think Kayla can snip in like a little clip of what we talked about then. It's still bad. And I'll let Kayla talk about it because she had it pulled up on what people are still saying about this company and what they're going to do. Because it's always to be conscious of like who you're giving your money to and like what kind of dealings that they have.
Yes, so with that first video that we did, not only did we capture the screenshots and timelines of everything of the previous game that they had that they scrapped, we also took a deep dive into, like you're saying, who is actually behind Zigzag Games? Who are we giving our money to? Who are we supporting? Who are we waiting for to release this? And we found that it was basically these 2 guys who somehow, through like getting really cheap art from Mexico, I believe was what the previous reviews would say, they would underpay workers and just like get new ones to create these Pokemon ripoff characters, Neopet ripoff characters for Neo Monsters. They made a lot of money from that game in the 6-figure range. They bought an office in Tokyo and they have had a lot of turnover since then. And they're basically just trying to rip off popular franchises to make games. And that's what we feel and what we concluded they're doing with Otome is they found out that it was popular with Obey Me, like she said, now Twisted Wonderland, and they're really just trying to rip off that. And the key theme is that they like to find the cheapest labor that they possibly can, as they don't actually care about the subject matter. And it seems like they're still up to that because we just went on their Glassdoor to see if anything's new. And there are countless reviews that say that they applied for a developer position And they were tasked with like a 15-hour task of creating a full competitor analysis, which is a marketing task, not a developer task, but that's what they're asking their developers to do, and a specific question of finding at least 15 techniques that a game uses to sell their gacha characters. And they provided otome game examples that were not from their own company, which people said was a red flag, which I agree, because it proves that they're just trying to be like other companies, and they clearly don't actually know the market at all, which how would they? They're just two motherfucking guys. Like, sorry. I'll have to bleep that out. But it just pisses me off because, you know, we work so hard and we care so much about this industry. So to see people like be able to just put things out that they aren't actually passionate about in this space is really upsetting. But yeah, they're still up to their same tricks. 80% negative reviews on Glassdoor.
Yeah, to try to get free work out of people before you hire them and then to plan to not hire them, I feel like is definitely, it's not illegal, but it should be, because it's like just any work advice I would give. If you're interviewing for a job, I think portfolio work or doing like test assessments while in the interview is one thing. But if they're asking you for free labor, run. There's no reason a job should be doing that if you're not getting paid for it, okay? You can show them that you know what to do because they'll ask questions. I've interviewed and they're asking me questions about SQL and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I would do this, I would do a join it. Like, those make sense because I have the mindset and the understanding of what to do. But yeah, so I think that's just shady shit, and it's very much giving that they took direct concepts from other games that were very popular and they said like incorporate it. Now, this isn't to say that there can't be more than one game. I think we all like to believe that we're the first ones to create everything, but we're not. We pull inspiration from what we see every day in life. However, that's not what I felt when I was playing this game. I even text our friend Lauren. She plays Twisted Wonderland. You should go, if you do like that series, definitely go check out her videos. But she's like, it's giving that vibe. Like, that's what I feel. And I was like, I know that literally from the ads, I had sent Kayla the other day, like even a video of kind of a playthrough. Something that stood out to me right away was that like, it says, oh, you're gonna interactively play through like almost like a manga style. And I was like, no way. Like, there's no way that I'm playing a visual novel that is set where it's just manga panels, because it's gonna give, I think you and I said it, I was like, it's probably gonna be a video, like I can almost guarantee you. And that's what it was.
It literally is. It literally feels like they just took any random thing that's popular right now in the marketplace of apps and this genre and literally just put it all together. Like, they were like, oh, I think they got that from like the webtoons ads, like how they have like the videos and those get a lot of views because obviously it's a paid ad. But I think they literally just Jimmy hammered that in from that. I think they switched because before it was more like a technology, like coding kind of game, like gang, I should say. Like the guys were all like on their computers and they looked like spy like era. And now they kind of look vampiric. Like they're like more Obey Me, Twisted Wonderland-esque in their art. Everything's a little more bloody and like, it's just, they took what was popular now in the current place and just shoved it in there. And we'll get to it, but the cats too, like they're like, girls love cats, like let's just put cat, like it is so random and it is such a hodgepodge of shit.
Yeah, they even took like what is like a very popular character right now, which is Gojo, and they were like, put one guy that looks like that in there. And I'm not, here's what I'll say, I'll give you props where it's due. Like, we have the actual voice actor of Gojo in our game. If you don't know what our game is, it's Evermore. Go download it now on the App Store. It's My Love For You is Evermore. We are gonna release a video that has more information on updates about that. So yeah, check it out. But anyway, like they literally were like, what's popular? What do girls like? And that's actually something I also really, really, really want to address. So first thing that I noticed when I downloaded the game, you are a girl. There is no, because it's set up in a manga style, they had to have drawn the characters. You don't get to pick your gender. You don't get to pick the way you look, nothing.
That surprised me because I feel like what's hot right now is having the ability to change gender. So that was weird to me.
It's also, yeah, like I understand you want to have a set story and you did the art. I get that you did that. However, this is a global game. It's not, on their Facebook it still says otome, which will show a screenshot, but it's not something, it's an adventure, it's under adventure. This is for somebody that anybody should be able to play. It's very clearly only demographed towards women, which I'm not saying that they can't be that. That's not wrong and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just thought that was odd. Like, you're not supposed to see your character when you're playing on it. You don't see your character other than in the manga panel things. She don't look like anybody. She don't look like me. I can't identify with this person at all. And they ask you right away to put your name in. Because I know what people say, I don't self-insert. I don't give a damn if you don't self-insert. They literally asked you to. So it means that it's you. I hate when people do that. I don't self-insert. I don't give a shit.
I know. And I was just saying
I'm sorry. I know that's mean. And that's fine if you don't. I'm not hating. But please stop with that. I don't self-insert. Girl, okay, and I'm going to ask for diversity and for stuff I want. Stop doing that.
I know. And I was thinking about this too, but I'm like, and maybe it really is just like a two worlds of it, but I literally, it's not even that I only self-insert in games where it's like you choose a protagonist. I self-insert in everything. Like, I self-insert when I'm watching a movie, like when I'm reading a book, like I'm like, I want to feel like I'm in the freaking story. It's just like immersive to me. I don't know. I thought everybody did that. To each their own.
I find it fun, especially like when Caitlin and I watch stuff in general. Like sometimes obviously we get real silent because we're like engrossed in it. But like her and I are like, honestly, what I would have said is this, like we're always, in the way that we watch and consume media is as if we're two characters that are there together in it and like what we would do. That's what I do. I think the only time I don't as a character is like in maybe sometimes in BL. And even then I like to be there and be like, listen, if I was there, like the tea would be, I'd be like, no babe, you gotta fix it with your mans. Like I do it in everything.
I know. I'm like, what if I could text him right now and tell him like, this is what you need to say? But like literally. Yeah, I agree. There are some times though that I'm like BL, I'm like they're having their little moment, so I'm not feeling like I'm in that at all. But yeah,
specifically the sex scenes.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
that's
no,
what
I'm
I
not here.
Oh my god. But also another thing I wanted to say is, like we're saying, yes, they are picking everything that they think girls would like and trying to put it in there, but it's very much done, I feel, in like a masculine way. It's like a dude trying to be like lighting a candle before a girl's come over to be like, oh, girls like candles. Like now she'll feel comfortable in my space. And it's like, it's still dingy and dark and it smells like boys' feet in here. Like,
I'm actually still terrified.
I still want to run. Because that's like how the UI is like very dark and like old and dated feeling. And it's just like, I was not impressed. I don't know if you want to like go through what it's like from when you boot it up.
You have a good point. So I'll compare it to like Twisted Wonderland because I re-downloaded it just to see. Twisted Wonderland is giving you very dark academia and it's giving you the ghoulish vibe that you want to have. So when you're entering the game, you do immerse into that like realm of like, I'm at this school, which is essentially to me gives Hogwarts. Yeah, I've never really read Harry Potter, but that's like the vibe I would get. Like, look at me, I'm in a magical school, girl. You pick a character. This is where I'm gonna do the one-to-one comparisons. So when you start off in Twisted Wonderland, you choose a character, which is within a specific house. I think it's Hades, the Queen of Hearts, whatever. And then you choose like a specific guy, and then you go on from there. Tokyo Debunker is exactly the same. You pick a guy, and then he basically says he's going to, you know, off himself. And then it goes into, and you kind of wake up and you're on this train. And you go through this whole thing of like kind of the in or out. So like you're in modern day Tokyo, and then you go into this other dimension. It kind of also gives me like almost a vibes of like the Midnight Hour of Persona 3. This is what I was telling you. So you go into it and then you go through the chapters and whatever, because there's 33 chapters of the prologues. Please piss off. 33 chapters? No way. Like, no way.
They're also like, they're shorter for sure, but it's just like, I hate when they make them that way, where they literally bite-size it up to 33 chapters is so excessive. Like, just make it like 3. Yeah.
One thing though that I did immediately notice is that you could just skip this stuff, and in like in otome games and voltage games, even in our game, you don't get to skip it because the whole point is to understand what the story is and there's choices. If you skip, it means that the choices don't matter. Like, they just don't. And in otome games specifically, as well as voltage games in our game as well, even if you've played it before and you skip, it'll take you directly to the first choice, and then you can keep skipping because if you know whatever. But this one, you just skip. But there are choices embedded, but they obviously do not matter because you can skip it. And then when you get to the manga part, it's just a video. One thing I would say is better in this one than in Twisted Wonderland. Twisted Wonderland, you couldn't go any more dialogue without it making every single choice where you say something. You know, remember when we were playing, it's like every piece of dialogue, you're like, select.
Which is kind of what they do in this one in like the chat sequence. Like, even if it's not a choice, if she is saying a line, you have to click the button of the line, even though it's only one choice. Like, to me, I would just prefer if just like let her speak, and then we'll go from there.
So they give you your card, like a couple cards, so that you can form a team. Your team is so that you can do investigation. And one of the cards is probably the guy that you choose, because the guy that you choose will sit on your home screen. So pick wisely if you don't like the guy that you chose. I don't think you can undo it. They don't give like very great explanation. They're just like, here's the guy, and then you can train them. And then you train them up, and they're the little chibis. And it was giving a 3. It was giving, again, a Twisted Wonderland. It was literally just like all these little chibis. And then what I really was anticipating when you do investigations, I'm not saying that it has to be like specifically so intertwinedly to change to the story, because it would automatically lead to the end of the game sooner. But I think it would be a cool concept if they had like where your team goes in a Danganronpa style, where you investigate and you have like this thing that's going on, you're going to fight whatever ghoul it is, or Persona 3, or even I would say probably closer to like 5, you get a request and then it's like, hey, let's go investigate, and you do these tasks. Yeah. That's not it at all. It's a battle game where you can skip it and you just decide if you win or lose, and I'm just like,
it's all pointless.
Because they do the same kind of scenario in Mr. Love. You get the cards and you have to like, it's like, oh, produce something, but it's like, what does the card have to do with this? And at least the one benefit to that is that like you could get a date card, so it's like that. I don't know if this is how that's gonna work personally. I'm never gonna find out. I don't remember in Obey Me. We've also never gotten too deep in that. I will say what I liked about Obey Me in general is how immersively they try to make their UI as like modern day, as like we're on social media and this is all these things, so you felt connected in the same way you did with Mystic Messenger.
Yeah, it was very polished, like, whereas this is not polished. It's definitely very dated looking. I would say like the UI is not, Mystic Messenger had a good UI, but it's an older game. I think it's worse than that. Like, it's worse than like Shall We Date games that I was playing in 2015. Like, it has a layer of grain under it. I can tell they did a lot of things with like image maps and stuff like that, and it's just like a little bit off. I don't know. I'm just really not a fan of it. And the chat system, like you're saying, it doesn't feel modern. Like, it doesn't feel like a modern social media thing.
And then they have the like where you're obviously building up the campus to like your thing. And I think I would like this in a larger scale thing, like starting from like something like Angelique. The whole point is you ask the guys to help you build up the island. Like, that's cool because you can see it and you go and do stuff. Or like in something comparative, like I've never played Animal Crossing, but I have played Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I would definitely suggest it to everybody. The whole thing is like you build up the stuff, and even that is better task wise because you have to go and do tasks to build it. Whereas this, they're like, do you have the coin? And it's like, I don't know what I can't remember but you remember those old games where like you just build it up, like you just get coins to like build stuff up?
Like there was like a Haribo hotel, like there's all kinds of things like that, but like I feel like the difference is like that's the core gameplay in other games, like even with Angelique, like it's the core thing, it's like build up your island country thing, and this is instead, like you said earlier, a menial task. Like, it's just serving as a roadblock to get you to spend money, basically. It's just an annoyance, to be honest.
Yeah, and one thing that was super annoying was like when you can chat with the guys, which are just preset chats, they don't tell you immediately how to get, they're just like, you have to raise your affinity with the guys. They do not tell you how to do that though, like at all. So you just have to find it out. The only way you find out is if you raise your level. Once you get to a specific level, then they're like, oh, you can open this arena or this camp thing. The arena is to battle people online, but the camp is like, oh, you can raise these other stats. And it's like, cool, I guess, because now I can. And so then you raise the affinity, they're like, look, you got chats. And it's like, suck my ass. It's crazy. And what I want to say again, and comparing this to Mystic Messenger, why Mystic Messenger did so well, and why the Zoom probably sucks, because I'm never going to play that game ever again. But Mystic Messenger did so well because the tasks outside of the chats that you're going through the storyline mattered to the overall game. The calls mattered to the game because you unlock stuff. So like when you're sending out those emails to all of those people, you are literally throwing a party.
Yeah.
So it matters that it happens, because if you do bad, you will not get a good end. Like even if you hit all of the markers to the guys, if you fail at the RFA admin part, you literally will not get a good end. Like, that's how it works, and that makes the stakes matter more. When you're like when they're updating the photos, it feels more realistic because you can immerse and every chat matters after the fact. So like, do they have random chats in there? Yeah, because you're literally a day by day thing, and then you get to day 5 and they freaking matter all the time. Even the side ones, they freaking matter. They go in a line. That's why that game did so well. In this, it's like, yeah, the chat happened, I guess, but like, who gives a shit? I don't.
Yeah, I feel like there was somebody a while back who commented once, because they were like, I had said that I like gameplay, but that I don't like gotcha. And somebody was like, it's literally gameplay though. Like, why wouldn't you like gotcha? And I was like, it's not meaningful gameplay. Like that is the core difference. Like in Brothers Conflict, like I'm scheduling my week. That to me is gameplay that matters, because I have to schedule it right and make sure I make the right relationships with the right people to make my life turn out the way that I want it. And like you said with Mystic Messenger, that's what hooked me about that gameplay. I felt like it was important what I was doing. And when the event was coming up, it was important to the story. And in this case, it's literally just time wasters. It's so unimportant, and I don't have high hopes for the story either. Obviously, we didn't read a bunch of the story, but it wasn't grabbing me, and I just can tell that there's no passion behind it. Like I don't know who the creators of this are, and other than the guys, I don't know if they outsourced the writing. I'm gonna assume probably. I just feel
for sure they probably scammed the shit out of people.
Yeah, so when you're getting scammed or getting underpaid, you're probably not going to be writing your best work then either. So like, even if it's somebody who does like otome, who actually wrote it, they probably didn't put their best foot forward anyways because of the situation that they were dealt. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, I know sometimes I think we come across as we're not plot girlies. Like, I love a good plot, but I also love something that connects. I think it's fine to have chats outside of that. That's totally fine. I think I love a lot of content. I love a good chat game. I love it being like, oh, I'm gonna text you my little favorite character. All of that is super duper cool, but it has to just be done in a way that feels like it makes sense. Like, I always used to give this critique with Mr. Love. If during the middle of the actual storyline, my character is battling for her life, and then this side card, it's like, we're going on our way to Disneyland. Like, how does that why would that make sense? Why would that make sense?
Yeah.
It also would mean that one is not true to the other.
It just like takes you out of it. Like, you're in this whole intense scene and plot, which, like you said, like I think it probably does come across like we're not as much of plot girlies, but like we are, because we don't like gotcha. We prefer a completed storyline. So we're definitely more plot girlies than the gotcha girlies, I'm assuming. But it just takes you out of the plot constantly when you're playing gotcha, and puts you on these like meaningless side quests.
Yeah, and it's obviously geared to like be like, you could date these guys because that's what it said before, but like, you can't. You really couldn't. There's not a way to do that because they're set up the way that the storylines are. They're preset. I think you can flirt with them, you can get close to them as friends, but they don't have anything meaningful to that because there's nothing that leads you to show the like your love affection. There's nothing like that. For a stat building game, that's a stat you'd want to have so that you know that you could like eventually go down that route. But because this is a game that would never truly end, that will never happen. So it's just basically like a Twisted Wonderland, something that really fucking killed me. So what I feel like gotcha games, how they reel people in, is that you technically never have to spend a dime. You could just play the game for free. However, that's not how it's ever gonna really truly work. I think that's what people's argument number one to us all the time. Like, well, you never have to spend a dime. If that was the case, like, yes, technically. However, that's not the majority that they want to appeal to, because if it was just for free, they would just never, ever, a game couldn't function that way. It just can't. They want you to be able to get these SS cards. That's why they have limited time releases for them. They want you to spend the money to upgrade and do all this stuff because you can only go so far on free. So we looked on it, and Kayla posted a screenshot. On like one of the SSR cards, it says, oh, free pull, 10 free pulls after you purchase. That is not free. You just pay for it. And it's not even like a minimal purchase of like $2.99. You have to get 1,900 diamonds to get 1,900 diamonds, because they don't just offer 1,900. You have to spend at least $40. That's for digital cards. Like, no.
It's very predatory. That's something that a lot of these gotcha games do, and this happened in Shall We Date, because I used to play those back on my channel back in the day, and I would always have to end up paying for stuff because I just did not have that much time in my life to do everything for free and like grind. They always would say, like, for the special item you need, it's going to be this weird number that's in between 2 of the packs you can buy. So you always end up having to spend more money, and you have to buy more than you're going to end up using to complete the story, so they get the maximum profit. It's very predatory in my opinion.
It is. I just feel like you shouldn't have to go. Again, I'm going to spend the $40 on a full game that's finished. I mean, sometimes I regret it. Otome. But
Somebody kiss video coming soon.
However, I'd rather spend the money and have the full game and at least know, like, I at least got it and I'm gonna get an end either way. And like, maybe I don't love it, but I at least feel satisfied in what it is and it's completed. Might be full of plot holes, might suck, but at least it's done and over with.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I spent $50 to get Tokimeki Memorial. That's a full completed game that I can play over and over and over again. And this one has changing dynamics. Like, I played Teru's route the first time, and I got the one of the ends. The second time, I thought I did better on Teru's route, and then I ended up alone. And I was like, whoa!
Yeah,
I got more CGs the second time, and I ended up by myself. I think it's because I quit my job, but like, I can't tell.
In Tokimeki, like, the routes are like totally different every time you play it. Whoever you're going for, it's truly like a slice of life. Every little choice and thing you do, everything can change. Everything's randomized. It's awesome. And I agree. Like, when I open up a game that I spent money on, I feel satisfied because I can just start playing right away. I don't have to go through all these stupid screens of telling me I need to buy this and I need to open this present and I need to do that. It's like so frustrating. I just want to, if I only have an hour tonight to play something, I want to fucking play something. I don't want to just like feel scammed and like I'm in the cheap, like some marketplace, like bartering with people. Like, it's such a horrible feeling. And I really, truly don't understand how people enjoy this. I really, really don't.
Yeah, like, I just think that it's just always a cash grab, and at the end of the day, that's it. And if that's your thing, you know, even though we just harped on it for 20 minutes, go for it, girl. Like,
yeah, I want to say, like,
sis?
We're definitely not hating anybody who does like it. We're just trying to explain our perspective of like how confusing it is to us.
I'm hating on the game company. You can play whatever you feel like you enjoy. I just enjoy like having the final end. I think for me, I'm a completionist in a sense. Ask Kayla, like, I need to know the end of something before I'm willing to start it, because if I hate the end, I'm never gonna like the middle parts, because I already know the end sucks. It's gonna piss me off. So I can't imagine like ever playing this game and thinking the end is gonna go so well. Like, it just isn't, because it's never gonna end.
Honestly, we really are like that. I feel like even like when you and I watch anime, it's always one that like either I have screened first and I'm telling you like it's good, or you have screened first and you're telling me like, oh, it's good. Like, we never just like go into shit and watch it blind. And a few times that we have, we always stop after like episode 2. Like, it's not fun.
The only one that Kayla told me that was good, that I was like, nah, I ain't messing with it. And then I ended up watching it later and reading the whole series by accident.
I told you it was good.
Is Full Moon.
Yes.
Kayla's obviously knows me the best of anybody. Sometimes she'll tell me stuff and like she can always see on my face when I'm like, like, I don't know. So she's telling me about it and I was like, everything you're telling me, I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't like it. And so that had to be like 2 years ago. I texted her like 2-3 months ago and I was like, hey buddy, have you ever heard of this series?
I was freaking hot. I was like, are you real right now? Are you real right now? Because I had the biggest like hear me out conversation with her, because I knew she wasn't gonna like some of the like plot points and like logistics of it. I was like, hear me out. I know it's weird that she's like 12 and she like transforms into a 16-year-old.
I was like, it is weird. Nothing you're saying is convincing me. So I then read the whole series and I watch it and I text her and I was like, hey, like, because I was thinking in my mind that you didn't at first for 2 seconds. So I was like, before I go and like ball out on this subject, she's gonna be like, I know. So I was like, remember when you told me about this? So like I had I got humbled. I was like, I was wrong for that. And she was like, I stopped watching it because you told me it was weird.
I literally did, because like it was one that I had pre-screened up to like a certain amount of episodes, and I knew was good. So I like told her about it, see if she's feeling it, and we could finish it together. But she wasn't feeling it, so I was like, it's not worth my time. But then when she finished it, I went back and I was like, okay. And so she knew like the TT plot spoilers that I won't say. And so when I got to it, I would text her about it. I was like, oh my freaking God, that's crazy.
I felt so bad because I was like, wow, like, I'm such a biatch for being like, nah, keep that weird shit.
You were like, I shouldn't have even brought it up to you that day because you were in one of your moods where you were just like, nah. There's certain days where Yana's just not about anything. And I knew that it wasn't the time.
It's true. Like, there's like random times. I just told this to Kayla today. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm actually really easygoing and go with the flow. I literally am not that at all in any way, shape, or form. I remember because we had been sitting in the office and I was probably chilling on my phone as you're describing it to me, and I was like, no.
Yeah, we were like really busy, I think, and like we hadn't eaten yet, and like we for some reason had to wait for something. I don't know if we were waiting for Michael to get home or we were doing something, and it was like one of those moments, and you were just like waiting for your food, and I was like, let me tell you about it.
And it's like, I've watched weirder stuff, so like, who am I? But like, I literally was like, no, like, nothing. I got catfished by Banana Fish, and I'd like to say this. Everybody knows about the Nendoroids. I have two. I have Sesshomaru and Inuyasha. They're up on my bookshelf. But if everybody's seen Yuri and Ice, which is so dumb that they just recently decided to cancel the like production of another, like, not a spin-off but a sequel to it, to Yuri and Ice, that they announced in 2017, and they're like, we've officially canceled it. Like, babe, we know you were never gonna do it, but okay.
We were barely able to drink when we thought that season 2 was coming. We're damn near 30 now, so let's talk about that.
So they anyway, so there was obviously Nendoroids of Yuri and
remember this?
Victor,
yes.
But there's two Yuris, and the other Yuri is blonde, Yuri Plutsetsky. And anyway, they would always have like that Yuri, but they would also randomly, people would have them like hang out with this other anime couple, I guess, which the guy was blonde and his name was Alex Links from not BJ Alex, that's a totally different one.
I knew exactly what you said that
from Banana Fish. And so I was like, oh, it's them. But then because they had the little I think his name is Edgy, I don't remember what the guy's name is at the moment, so I was like, oh, it's them. So then I decided, like, Caleb, I was like, I want to see them like with their couple moments together, because anybody who's seen Yuri on Ice, they literally was just about their love like story getting together.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's what this is, and I didn't do any research. And Caleb was like, if you just want to see their like love scene, just like look it up. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. I type in Ash Links and it says death, and I was like, no. So, and when I watched the series too, kind of going up to it, I was like, it's not a bad series, but it was just like nothing like I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to go into, I was going into this like boys love extremities yaoi, and what I got was a cross between, and if anybody knows, you know, like Jinx and Miss Mafia, I guess. Like, just punch.
Like violent, like very violent. Not all what she
Tokyo
was wanting.
Revengers. Like, it was crazy.
Do you remember when we looked at, I don't remember what it was called, because we literally only watched one episode and then we literally screamed and closed my laptop. But we were trying to look up like new.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. I'll send it to you when I find it. So this is funnier because we watched the first episode and we're like, good God. Like, it was very graphic in a way that you weren't expecting. And then we were like, stupidly, went over to my mom's for New Year's Eve to eat.
Oh, this is another one. Okay.
Oh, wait. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking, okay, we spent like a straight hour. Because you and I, we were trying, like we've said before, we like to really know that something's going to be good before we watch it. So we were going through all the forums, like top 10 BL anime, like Honeybee, all the blogs. And you and I finally agreed on one. We were like, okay, this sounds good. I can't remember what it was. We turned it on. It was in the Bloom apartment that we had together in the living room. And it was like really shittily animated, which was a first red flag that it was probably going to actually be like hentai. And they started like making out in a very graphic manner. And like Michael's in the other room, and you and I just slammed the door. We slammed my laptop closed. We were like, we're done. We're not watching anything else tonight.
I don't know which one it is, but I definitely can picture what you're talking about. And then there was the second one that Xavier almost caught us watching.
Yeah, this was another
and I felt
one.
like we were in the room, and like in my mom's room of all places, and it's honey everywhere, and it was giving. Again, I'm not a prude at all, but like anybody who would have caught us watching it would have been like, you're watching hentai and like in your mother's home, in your mother's room. I'm like, what are you doing with your friend? Like, you're weird.
I know, we looked like freaking weird, and we would have never lived it down because it was during like a party. So, and we were in the other room together alone watching this. So literally, if your brother would have saw that, he would have opened the door and been like, the girls are being weird, like come see what they're watching. Like,
I know, he would have been like, oh, like it would have been bad.
What was that one called? It was like about like an actor. I don't know,
but they were like two actors.
Yeah.
And, like, remember, they was basically like trying to be like an enemies to lover, but like they went real lover real fast.
Yeah, they were like only lovers.
This is a random side piece, but like Black Butler, because another season is coming out, and I've seen a lot of commentary of people being like, these two, Sebastian and CL, they're like they're not romantic. They're like a father-son, and I was like,
no.
Let's talk about what kind of first of all, let's talk to you about getting help, because if this is the kind of father dynamic you got with your dad, I don't want any parts of it.
That's another one that kind of catfished me. Like, I watched it initially because people would always say that the butler was like hot and cool and like whatever. And he is, I guess, but it's also extremely dark. Like, I'm talking like people's faces sewn together and like blood. And then there's this weird relationship with the master CL and like the little kid, and then the butler. It's very, very weird. And yes, it's definitely romantic in my personal opinion. Like,
it is. It's definitely giving Shota-con.
Yeah, like nothing ever happens, but it's just weird. It's very, very uncomfortable and unsettling.
Yeah, because there's a part where, I don't know if you remember, but like he goes to like, I guess like fight or defend, and he has him like grabs him and is like, say my name. And it's like,
yeah. Or he'll like put him in his lap weird, or like just like he'll change. It is so, I watched this when I was younger too, and it was like one of the first times that I was like exposed to like some of the weird tropes that sometimes happen in anime, and I just wasn't expecting it. I was just like, what am I watching?
This is like a non-anime thing, but remember when we went to go see Don John and your mom went with us?
Yeah.
That sucked so bad.
I hate
the
watching
movie was
things
good, but it was like we didn't know. This was like during a time too where like you didn't really like look up a bunch of trailers. You could, a bunch of people probably did, but like we didn't look up trailers all the time. We saw one time and like, oh, we want to go see it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Scarlett Johansson, and we go with her mom, and immediately banging, and I was like, no,
it's just too much. It's just too much. Anytime like a sex scene pops up and I'm with my parents, even though like we're all adults, like I just feel so uncomfortable and I want to leave.
Yeah, but anyway, circling back.
Yeah, circling back to Tokyo Debunkers.
As you can tell, we just clearly were not, again, we're probably never going to be the targets. I don't like gacha. I'm not going to play gacha because I just think that I can Google it for $2.99. If you are really into this kind of style or like the story, even though I'm not for making Disney richer, I would probably just say go play Twisted Wonderland. That seems like the better of the two.
It's a lot more polished and high quality, and they have money to get good writers, even if they aren't passionate about it.
Yeah, I think this game, especially knowing what the company itself is trying to do sneakily, look at what they've done back in 2019. Look at what they're doing now. They just want money and they don't care how they're going to get it. If this game doesn't do well, I guarantee you, like their other games, it will automatically disappear. You'll never see it and all your money just goes away. This will happen to this company. They will not do successfully. I'm telling you right now. So if you want a game that you at least can feel great about the time investment and it lasting longer, I would say Twisted Wonderland. If you don't know anything about Twisted Wonderland, go to Loves of Lauren. Her videos will definitely help you out. figuring out that whole side of it. But that's my 2 cents. I'm not gonna play it any more further than this. It's gonna get deleted off my phone literally right after this video.
Yeah, and you guys might be wondering, like, why do you guys keep trying gacha games when it's the same response every time? You guys already know you don't like it. Listen, we know, but this was like a major thing that we've been waiting for like 4 years, like we said. And we just had to see what they were going to come out with in 4 years. So that is why we did it. And honestly, it's worse than I expected.
I also would say I like trying other games out because I feel like a lot of the time what I see in the otome sphere is a lot of people go, we're so starved, we get nothing. And it leads to predatory things like this where they can give anything and it really doesn't matter because at least we get something. We should want to have all of these great things. Again, I'm not always a fan of all of the otome stuff, but at least they have a little more substance to it. I don't hate everything from it, but I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I would love, oh my god, I would die if Uchi no Kuri got, localized. I would love to see Tokimeki get localized. They will give me for my money a 3rd time if they localize.
I would love to see like games from other companies. This is something we like text about all the time because it's like, yeah, all of the announcements are only like Idea Factory done, which is usually just like Ultimate and Axis. And it's just the same style every single time. And like Uchi no Kuri, Tokimeki, Angelique, like those are so, like there's so many other ones too from even more indie things within Japan. I just really would love to see them get localized, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's why I think we play them, just because we kind of, we're not here to tell you a game is great if we don't think it is. I'm glad if a lot of people like it. That's your decision and your enjoyment. What you invest in, you should invest in what you feel makes you happy. I'm here to just give an opinion of saying, like, I tried it and I'm telling you, I don't like it. It just isn't, it's these factual things. This is another time for me to plug in on how Even If Tempest sucks. So a lot of people like that game, and I'm like, why? That game was bad.
And that game, we paid our full money for. We each paid $50 to $100 between the two of us. We played 100% of the game from the beginning to the prologue, like not the prologues, the after stories, like every little bit of it. And we broke down piece by piece every plot hole and why we did not like it and how we felt about it exactly. And you can check out that extravaganza. I'm watching RuPaul's Drag Race, so that's extravaganza.
I love that show. I just saw I saw both who are the finalists in this season.
I'm like so behind. I'm only on season 3 so far.
Oh, I love season 2 because it had some of the meanest queens, but this is so funny. Raja's my favorite.
Oh, Raja's in season 3. Oh, okay, Raja's gonna win? Oh, I only have 2 episodes left. I had a feeling Raja was gonna win, though.
For some reason, I thought she was in 2.
No, 2 Tyra wins.
You're right. I am so sorry.
I've been watching it. I'm obviously I'm in season 3, so I've been watching it for like a little minute, like during work or whatever. And I always think about telling you, and I'm like, no. I feel like she's gonna spoil me who wins this season.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
I won't tell you about anybody else after that.
Okay.
So we are gonna wrap it up, guys. I hope you guys like this video. You guys will see it soon. And we have more videos to come. Anyway, check out, download Evermore. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye!